Hey everyone, this episode was special for me. I got to interview my younger sister, who is a newer entrepreneur, never planned on being one, never even considered it. It just kind of fell into her lap and in her life, as these things often do. But what I found fun and interesting about this one is the lessons of business, the core principles, she has them. She already understood them. And so some of the things that you'll see, she doesn't think that she's the entrepreneur. She doesn't know what she's doing. She clearly lays out how to run and grow a successful business. So stay tuned for Carolee with Ecolawn. Hey, what is up, everyone? This is Ete with another episode of The Company Next Door. Today, I've got my second in a row female entrepreneur back-to-back, so I'm pretty excited about that. Starting to level out the playing field a little bit there. And so today here with me, I got Carolee, who is the newest entrepreneur that I've had on the show so far, and actually the youngest as well. So the newest, the youngest, and she's also my sister, so that's pretty awesome too. So, Carolee, you want to say hi?
Hi.
She get that mic is hot. Yeah, she's figuring that out. So Carolee just got into business less than a year ago, but literally probably about 6 to 8 months ago, somewhere like that. She came from more corporate insurance world, from Jersey. I don't know, 4 or 5 years ago, somewhere in there, and we'll let her tell it. But she ended up here out in Utah. And she was working with me. And for those of you who don't know, because I don't really talk about my own self or company at all on this show. I don't know if I've mentioned it, but I have a company called Ecolawn. And so last year in September, Carolee was working with me for years, and her husband are now the owners of the Heber Midway branch, so your local location. And so I thought it'd be cool to have her on here for a lot of different reasons. I think it'll be a little bit of a different interview. I think we'll, being the youngest and being really in the startup phase, she can share. We could talk a little bit about what that's like at where she is now and some of the obstacles she's overcome and then what the future looks like. So it should be a fun time. But yeah, so I've asked her to come here. So here we are. Tell us a little bit about, I gave a brief overview of how you got here, and there's a whole backstory to that. and whatever you want to share is absolutely fine. But tell us a little bit about what it was like back in the day. You were in Jersey. You were, corporate America in the insurance world.
Sure.
Tell us a little bit about what. First, I guess what I want to know is how did you feel? How did you enjoy it? And did you ever tell us a little bit about that experience? And had you ever even thought that you were going to be in the business one day, let alone a lawn care business?
The answer is no. Well, I feel kind of silly being here now because I don't really consider myself an entrepreneur, but I guess that's what I am.
Yep.
But I worked for an insurance company. They were called GMAC, and then they rebranded to Ally Insurance. And so I was there for 10 years, and I didn't enjoy it. It was just a job to me. It wasn't a career. It wasn't a lifestyle. So I just went through the motions. I wouldn't say I cared about it like I care now.
Yeah.
So eventually that faded out. It's an interesting story, but...
Let me ask you that real quick before we move on. So you said you didn't love it. It was just a job. Did you, when you were in it, because 10 years is a long time to do a job.
Oh, yeah.
So was it just like, I'm just passing time, I'm getting a check, or like, were you dreaming, oh, maybe one day I'll do this, or what was that like?
Oh, no, it was just a paycheck. It was my temporary job that turned into permanent. So I think that's why I didn't really enjoy it, because I set out to do music, and so that was my day job, and I did music at night, weekends, but that didn't really, I guess, pan out the way I thought it would.
Okay.
So I just continued on, why do you leave a comfy job that was super easy, not challenging? It was a really easy paycheck. It really, really was, and I could do whatever I wanted on the side. I got, the nice benefits, the 30 days vacation.
Yeah.
It was just a really easy paycheck.
It's corporate America, and I wonder how many people listening now are in that position, and the good and the bad, getting that paycheck, but also thinking, what am I doing?
Yeah, I was in my 20s, so I don't think I honestly cared about, I should have, but I wasn't really concerned about career. I just figured, I'll get married one day and I'll become a wife. And who knows what I thought. But I enjoyed the people I worked with, but it was just a paycheck. It just was somewhere I went during the day, spent my time, and got paid.
And so at this time, 10 years, so about a decade, it's, eventually comes to an end, seeing how you're not there now. Was there any thought at all that, hey, maybe I'll have my own company? I mean, your father, who was my father, he's an entrepreneur. Our grandfather, I've always been in business. It's in the family.
No, I've only seen stress. I've only seen companies come to an end. My grandpa, Jefferson Perning, my dad, I wouldn't have said maybe they're successful now, but you're probably the first person that I've seen that was successful. But as far as the stress to the money ratio, I wasn't seeing that it was worth it. So no, I enjoyed just going to a job, and I left, and I didn't think a second later after I left the door, that was it. So I enjoyed that, but there was no, I didn't really get any satisfaction from it.
Yeah, there was no growth there.
No growth, no satisfaction, no ownership. But I also didn't have any stress.
Yeah. So show up and get paid.
Yeah.
And I honestly think the majority of our country, of our society, there is something nice to that, right? Like you don't have the stress. You don't have to, nice thing about corporate America is you go to work, you come home, you clock out, you're done. The evenings, the weekends, they're yours. And that's not the case when you're an entrepreneur, when you're a business owner. That's the opposite.
Yes.
But with it comes the good and the bad. So how did you end up leaving that job? And then how did you get to Utah to do what you're doing now?
So that was easy because they were closing our office in Mount Laurel. And if I wanted to continue with the company, I would have had to move to Detroit. And that was easy. Nope, I'm good. And at the time, I was ready to move on with my life. I was engaged at the time. So I was already set to move to Virginia. So I was like, perfect, the job's ending. They'll give me my severance package, and I'll go on my married way, and that's that.
Yeah.
Didn't turn out that way, but I did, get my severance package. So I think it was 2017. So anyway, they closed the office. I had money in the bank, and I had no job. The engagement was called off, so I had I could go anywhere. I had no job and no relationship, so it was kind of like the sky was the limit. Where do I want to go?
Was it exciting or was it more fearful? Like, was it more like, the sky is the limit, or like, holy cow, what do I do next? Like, I have no direction right now.
It was more that.
Okay.
Well, I thought I was getting married and all that.
Yeah.
So in my mind, the plan that I had already, the perfect plan had fallen apart. And I didn't like New Jersey, so it was time for a change. I had already gone through a life change a year prior, so I had changed my life drastically. So it was just like, oh, okay, I thought I had this direction and I was headed this way. I thought that was the right thing, and then all of a sudden it fell apart. So what's next? And I don't think I was really, it was just like, what's there? What are the options?
Yeah.
And so you called me up and said, why don't you come out to Heber, Utah? I was like, all right, what else what do I have to lose at this point? So I just came out here, and I honestly, I flew out here one-way ticket, and I was like, got to Heber, and I was like, I'm never going back. So I had our parents ship my car and all my stuff. I was done with New Jersey, and I was actually excited for something new.
What was it about Heber when you got here that, now you're here, you're building a business, you're starting a family here, got a baby on the way. There's just a lot of, it's a good time. What was it about Heber that you were just like, you got that one-way ticket and you're like, you know what? I'm good here. See ya, Jersey.
Oh, family.
Okay.
Totally. It was opportunity, family opportunity. And it was just, when I got here, I knew it was the next chapter in my life. And I did not look back. I think I have a colored past, my 20s. So nothing to do with New Jersey. It was more of me and the things that I did in New Jersey and the things that had happened. I feel like here I'm able to become who I want to become. And I just wasn't doing that in New Jersey. So
let me ask you this. How much of that came much of that comes from changing locations? I talk to a lot of people that feel stuck, and they might have opportunities across the country to. I mean, me myself, I was in Jersey. I had opportunity here to start this company 10 years ago, and it's changed my life, dramatically. How important do you think it is if you have, like you're saying, you've had this this lifestyle, this way that who you became? How important was it for you to get that fresh start and to have?
Oh, I wouldn't have done it in New Jersey. So it was all of it.
It was the catalyst for
I
change?
had to leave because then you live in a place your whole life. You're stuck to the things that you've done. You're scared of doing new things. Everybody knows you as something or whatever you've created yourself
whoever
as.
you were, yeah.
And, any failures or successes they were stuck to me. And I just wanted to be something new that I'd never been. And you got to kind of leave all that. And I'm not afraid to do that.
Yeah.
I'm not afraid to try new things. It was more of just, did it make sense? And so I think that people, places, things, you got to, if you want to be something new, you kind of have to remove yourself. And definitely I would have never had any of this. I don't even think I got lucky. I'm blessed in this. You basically handed this to me. I mean, I work hard, but
Sure.
You handed a business the opportunity. I would have never had this opportunity in New Jersey, nor would I have taken it.
Are you naturally a risk taker? Is that something that you feel is natural to you?
Yes, some things. Not with money, probably.
Okay.
No, not with money. But yeah, I'm not afraid to do new things.
Okay. Awesome. So, all right, so you move out here, you just want this fresh start, essentially, and you get it. And you're here in Heber, and all you guys, our audience here is local Heber. It's just a great place. It's good people, great place to do business. Economy's good. We've got mountain biking, hiking, you name it. It's safe too, especially with all the riding and stuff you see going out there in our little town. It's just it's awesome. Great place to start a family. So then you're here, and yep. So I brought her on. She was helping out with customer service. She was excelling at just developing customer relationships. I felt like the customers they stopped talking to me and they went to her, which was what I wanted. And then of course just your organizational skills, all those things. Then you got married. So you met someone from Idaho.
Yep.
Enzo.
Found my husband.
Yep. So one more good thing about...
From a dating app.
Yeah, from a dating app. It's 2020. Well, no, that was 2018.
2018.
2018, yeah. And he's also an entrepreneur as well. He runs his own digital marketing agency.
Yep.
Yeah, and so now you've got a husband and wife that are both running their own companies.
Yeah.
And often sometimes meeting in the middle. The companies are overlapping. So kind of a cool dynamic. You're working with me, and then in 2019... we have a discussion about, you like Heber, you like Midway. The clients already had a relationship with you, and it just seemed like a natural place to go, which was, hey, do you want to take this over? Do you want to buy this and be the owner here? And I got to ask, what was that situation like coming from, you've already shared your background, you never were interested in business, you just saw it equaling stress, and now here I am with an opportunity, and you didn't say no. So... What were some of the thoughts going through your mind?
I felt like I was already running your business.
Yeah.
And so I might as well get paid for it.
Yeah.
And at first I don't know. I don't think I really thought too much about it. But then when Enzo, my husband, said that we should really do diligence and research this, then because I didn't want to do it myself. So it was more like if he was on board, I'll do it because I'm already basically, I know I can do this. But my focus was I want to have a kid, and would it make sense to take on a business with the kid, wanting to start a family? So the fact that he was on board made it very easy. I was like, if you want to do it, yeah, I'll do it. I already know how to do it. I love it. And we kind of skipped over the fact that coming from corporate to this, I loved it. I didn't care that it was a lawn company. I love.
Let's go there now, because I actually I forgot to ask you. You were in insurance and lawn care. You had seen me and some of our friends in it, but I don't think you ever thought you would end up in it.
Yeah, so when I first moved here, I actually I went to went back. So I had my degree in business management, which I never really used, but it's a good thing to have. And then I went back to school to be a substance abuse counselor. So when I moved here, right before I moved here, I was interning at in Camden, New Jersey, which is like the hood.
Yeah, it's a tough place, man.
Doing counseling with people in recovery. So when I moved here, I was actually interning at a local recovery. Mm-hmm. So I was a substance abuse counselor, like training. And so that's a whole nother world. So I was doing that and then working.
And that's where you were headed at that time. You had left insurance and you thought you liked
something
it because
meaningful.
Something meaningful where you could give back and help others. And so you were heading down that path.
Yes, and at that time when I chose to go back to school, I was already planning to get married, and I wasn't going to I wasn't going to be working to provide for the family. It was more to do something that would give back. So I wanted to be a counselor and help people that needed that. So it wasn't really about the money. It was more about finding a fulfilling job.
Sure.
And so when I started working for you, it was getting stressful because I was doing both, and the counseling took a lot of energy, mental energy.
Yeah.
It was stressing me out more than I wasn't enjoying it, I guess. And so there was a lot of new things. I was in a new relationship. I was trying to do Ecolawn. I was trying to do counseling. And I was just like, I'm actually not really enjoying this. And then I went back and, what's a job? The whole point of working right now is to find something fulfilling. Mm. And when I realized I was getting that from you, having a small company, family business, building something together, and I was getting all the joy. Same thing, if I was counseling, the joy of helping someone, it was basically the same. I was getting the same thing out of fulfillment, joy. Yeah. I'm not just showing up and, putting my hours in. And it's not about the money. I mean, it always is, but it really wasn't.
Sure.
It was more like, what am I getting out of this? I know I can go get a job and get the paycheck, but if I don't care, what's the point? So once I realized that I was stressed and I was just as happy working for a lawn business, I actually stopped interning and I stopped pursuing the whole counseling career because it was stressful, and I was just as happy it was more about working with a group, working towards something.
Building something.
And I wanted my boss to be successful.
Yeah.
I wanted my family to be successful. And so helping you was like, that's all I realized that's all I've been looking for in a job, is to be a part of something that I loved and to really feel neat. And I was feeling you guys appreciated me. Coming from corporate, they didn't care. When 10 years, they're like, here's your money, bye. I don't even know who you are, and I don't care.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, not all. I'm sure my manager cared, but in the end, nobody cared.
So it sounds like, it's interesting what you're saying, because it sounds like, you bring up this conversation, which I don't know if I've had this yet on the show, about just, meaningfulness, if that's a word, and satisfaction, those type of things.
Yeah, that's what I was looking for.
And it's interesting because you're saying you found it in a place, pretty much the least likely place you ever thought, in a lawn care business, in a small family lawn care business in Utah.
Yes.
And I like that because I think often we think joy or that satisfaction is in one thing. And often it's right in front of us, and we're looking.
I found that several times in my life.
Yeah, we're looking for this big thing, and it's really not about that. For you, it sounds like it was working with a purpose, working with people you cared about, with a team, and wanting to help. And
they appreciate
and feeling
me.
Appreciated. Yeah.
Yes. Well, then I'm making a difference.
Yeah.
In a huge company, it's hard to do that.
I love that.
And also when I was doing my music career, I actually was as a solo artist, and I realized that's why I didn't enjoy it. I wanted to be in a band, and here I was doing a solo artist, and I actually had a little bit of success, but I didn't want to do anything with it because I wasn't happy, which is funny. So I think I'm realizing all the things that I thought made me happy, like, a comfortable job that you don't have to worry about stress.
Right.
Like the easy way out. doesn't make me happy.
I love that. The easy way out is not always the best way.
And, showing up to a job where I don't have no stress, but, get paid, but it didn't challenge me. And then realizing with, the music that I wanted to be a part of something, and then counseling was just stress. I was taking on other people's stress, so that wasn't good for me. But I absolutely love the, working for Ecolawn. I love working with you. It's the people you work with.
Yeah.
And I actually, now that I love lawns too. Like at first I didn't really, it was more about the having a relationship with clients. I love that. That they can come to somebody they trust, take care of their lawn. We're not, and I love how transparent that we are. There's nothing shady about this company. I've seen other lawn companies. They can't even tell you what they're using. I don't like that. So.
Yeah, just an honesty and just doing good business. So, okay, so then last fall, we do this, and you and your husband take over this Ecolawn-Heber Midway, and now you are just running, literally. I mean, you just hit the ground running. We started the season out, and everything's new, right? I mean, you've seen a lot of it. You know the operations. You know how to do this and that, but now you've got payroll. Now you're a boss. Now you're a leader. Now you're an expert. Now and so how has that been? Because you're really 4 or 5 months into your first season, so you're so fresh, and obviously so much stress. But what has it been like? Like how are you? How do you get through it?
I actually love it because I've been lucky enough to have there's stress, but there's stress with everything. Well, besides that one job, except for working at the insurance company. But no, there's usually stress with anything that's worth it. Anything that you care about, I think, becomes stress. When you honestly care about something, that it adds stress because now all of a sudden you're putting everything into
energy.
Yeah. But no, I actually love it. You've made it easy because you gave me a process. I trust the process. You've been there. I have support. So I've had support, great people to work with. So it's stressful, but honestly, it hasn't been anything harder than the last 3 years working with you.
Yeah.
And I am blessed to have an amazing worker who I trust. So I think learning that, I'm a boss, but I'm more of a leader. Like, I don't want him, I told him, you're going to make mistakes, expect it. And I'm going to expect you to make mistakes, but I'm also going to expect you to learn from them and, tell me and we'll fix it. Yeah. And so I'm not I don't like to be fearful. I don't want to be scary, but I also expect him. There's expectations and he meets them. And
so there are things that you've spoken about in the past that were important to you, like being as an employee, right? Being appreciated, being heard, being valued. How do you pass that on? Like, how has it been? Do you feel like you're able to pass on now that you're on the other side? Do you see
sure.
It's a little, it can be a little
if you
tricky.
ask Aiden, he would tell you. I ask all the time, Howard, and I love to give bonuses. Well, you appreciate.
Yeah.
There's several ways you find out what means a lot to them, and money usually speaks. But I don't. Yeah, if the employee's not happy, they're not going to do good work, and then there goes my whole business. Without a happy employee, then your business falls apart.
Absolutely, you've got to treat them like you care about them, and you got to mean it. What has been the hardest thing for you to learn it with all these new changes, with all the things we mentioned?
Equipment.
Yeah.
I'm not a good person with equipment. I'm just when it comes to things breaking down, I don't know what to do. So that's something that I need to work on or have backup, because you never know what's going to happen during the day. But what I've learned is just, it's not the end of the world. Clients are totally fine if you reschedule. If things don't always go as planned, and it's plan on that. Plan on things not going as planned. But it's okay because anything can be fixed.
How do you approach something like that if you do have some clients lined up for, later in the day, something goes down and you can't get there? Like you're saying, you can fix it. How do you take that?
Usually just letting the client know exactly right away. People just want to know.
They want to
If something, something break, or if we break something or there, something happens, just tell them. And right away, you're going to tell them what you're going to do to fix it. They just want to hear the resolution.
Yeah.
So it's not the end of the world. I mean, it is people's it's not like they're going to die. If something
Right.
happens.
Yeah, we're not in healthcare.
No, so it's not the end of the world. Everything will be okay.
Gotcha. Yeah, no, I agree. So, sometimes people have an urgency, but you can fix anything.
Yeah.
With good communication.
I feel like as long as you communicate to the client exactly what's going on, they're totally fine with it. Even when they start off upset, they're upset with you. But if you just are like, look, if you're just honest with them, they're totally fine.
What is the most important thing to you in doing business over the last year? Like, if you were to sit and look at your, what do you call them, core principles or core beliefs, what are some of the things that you're just like, no, it has to be this way? Do you know what I mean? Like, what are those fundamental things that are so important to you that you will not change on?
Well, if you say you're going to do something, you have to do it.
Yeah.
I mean, you honor it. I think that being very, it is kind of treat people how you want to be treated. Like, I do business the way I would want. Like, if I call someone up, I expect them to give a level of professionalism. I expect a professional, if I'm paying for something, I expect a level of professionalism. I expect a good job. There's certain things you expect if you're paying. I expect communication. So transparency. Those are huge things that I won't, if I tell a client I'm going to do, I guess that's the hard thing. If I say I'm going to be there, I'll do everything I possibly can to follow through within reason.
Yeah.
So it's really just follow through with what you agree on. Fix anything that, take ownership.
Take ownership. I love that.
Just giving a good service.
Yeah.
I want quality. It's not about the quantity. I'm about quality.
That's awesome.
Being fair. And
so, I mean, and it's funny because I know you only have 8-9 months in this, in business. But the funny thing is I've learned, I've got, 12, 13 years, is I would probably answer that question the same way. Like at the core of business is people and a service and you just being honest and taking care of them. It's really not that.
That's what I would expect.
Yeah, and do what you say you're going to do. I mean, it's the worst when you call someone out and, I got people at my house to come out and do a service and they show up a month late and they forget, But I'm just saying it's funny that you've already learned those lessons. And it's interesting, for those that are listening and go, man, how is she running this business? It's just these core principles. That's literally all it is, right place, right time, good product, good service, good people.
And we also bought a good business. Yeah. I would not have bought a business that I didn't believe was, you already had it. It was already a process set up. It was a matter of me following through and making it better.
Gotcha.
So, and constant, like having the time, it's been nice to have time to focus on one branch. Because when I was helping you, I was doing several branches.
Yeah, and we're just
all over the place. And I felt like I was kind of, all over the place. Now it's very focused. I only care about Wasatch County. I care about it, but, this is my focus. I have these many clients. My job is to make sure I do the best possible job with these clients, make sure they're all happy, and I have the time to do it.
Yeah.
So I love it, being able to follow up and see, are you guys happy?
Has that been hard for you? Because I know a lot of people struggle when they get into business because you have to be self-driven, right? You go to a job, they have a schedule, and you just follow orders. When you're self-employed, you could be, like you said, you got your crews are out there doing the work. You could take 5 hours and just go to the pool all day, right? And so, but a successful person who will be successful, they'll put some amount of time, energy back into it on their own. Has that been hard for you?
No, because it feels like mine.
Okay.
Before it was mine because it was yours and family, and I care. So because I care so much and I love it, that's just what I do.
Gotcha.
It's not. I do like to go to the pool. The pool. It's actually been easy because it's been COVID. So
yeah,
I haven't had it. There's nowhere to go. So it actually probably worked out.
So we're all trapped.
Really well. I'm home anyway.
So let's. Okay, so you got into the business, And now, you're, and I don't know exactly, 4 or 5 months pregnant, somewhere in there.
20 weeks.
20 weeks. So,
Halfway.
But you got into the business before that. So obviously that adds a whole nother layer, or could, of complication or stress, or, what has that been like? Because I have seen you. I mean, she's a pregnant woman learning everything. Like I said, she had to become an expert in all these things overnight. And I've seen her loading trucks and moving bags and doing things, obviously not hurting herself, but, doing these things while you're pregnant. And then, so on one side, what has that been like? And on the next side, are you concerned, or what do you think, what about the future, right?
Sure. So I don't think it's normal that I feel this good. This is the first pregnancy. I was sick probably 2 weeks out of the 20, so I don't think this is normal. I felt great. Just now I'm like, okay, I don't want to go, because I was helping power raking, and I actually enjoyed it because I like to work out, so I think it was an excuse to kind of get a workout. But just now I'm like, okay, I'm starting to show. I don't think I should be out there. But honestly, it hasn't. I think I've just been super blessed. It hasn't been a problem at all. I mean, I sleep well.
Wow.
I think it's just not normal. Maybe because I don't know.
I think you're making
I'm being watched out.
All those pregnant women that have suffered, they're mad. Anyone who's listening is angry right now.
I know. So I think that, I just been blessed because I don't think I would have been able to completely, I basically have run the whole business because my husband's had a lot more to do with his business and he hasn't been able to do what he wanted to do.
Yeah.
So, honestly, it hasn't. I think just now I'm uncomfortable because I'm getting bigger. And I'm like, I don't want people to see me out. Like, I don't want this pregnant woman out there on my lawn.
Yeah.
But I love riding in the truck and I like spraying. I don't know. Yeah. I guess it's just, to me, it's relaxing.
Yeah.
I like to see progress.
Yeah.
And I really enjoy, now I'm like getting into like testing and stuff. Like, this is fun. Like,
science,
the
biology
this
part,
is the fun. And, not being stressed about finances and being able to do this, I think that frees me too. I'm not worried about money.
Yeah.
So that helps.
So what are your hopes for?
The future.
In the and not just on the pregnancy side. I mean, obviously you're gonna have a child come later in the fall. And for those of you who don't know, lawn care is very seasonal. It's a March-ish, April to October type of thing, and then it's off, and then you come back at it. So obviously your second season, you're going to have a little baby. Yeah. You want to grow the company. Mm-hmm. What do you hope to accomplish or learn over the next, 12 months?
It's perfect that, again, we've been blessed that I'm going to have the baby in October, which means the season will be over. So this has been perfect timing. So with this year, I think I'll have all the processes set in place so that Enzo can do more next year, and things are already set. So I can do, I can do a lot more in less time because I'd still like to work part-time.
Sure.
And it's definitely doable. So I think just having everything set up, I'm learning all the things that don't work, the things that do work, what clients want. I'm ironing out all the little stuff and the big stuff that next year we'll be able to, we don't have to learn the lessons.
Yeah.
Also with marketing, we've learned what works, what doesn't work.
Sure.
We had a weird year with the COVID, but but we've definitely learned. I've learned a lot, and I think next year will just be easier.
So you mentioned the word process a minute ago, and that's a powerful word. I think a lot of people overlook that, especially small entrepreneurs, because we're just busy surviving, right? The day to day.
Sure.
Tell us a little more when you're saying processes. What are you saying about?
So you've already done the hard work. You've done this for how many years? You've learned. So I'm not going to go mess with what you've learned and what you're telling me. I'm sure that, I have to learn things for myself, but there's processes, there's reasons why you have set the business up this way. There's a reason why we come 6 times a year. There's reasons for everything. So I don't need to waste time questioning, changing your process when I know it works. I've seen it work. let me just improve on it. What more can I do?
Personalize it, customize it for you. Okay.
But I mean, you've spent so many hours, you've spent tons of money. So I'm just capitalizing on, I bought the business because I knew it was it had the process in place. Yeah. You already have a name. There's a reason why we do what we do. So I don't have to waste time questioning what you set up.
Gotcha. So your goal is really, it sounds like, to find all the holes in the process for you this year in the system.
Yes.
And iron them out, make the mistakes, get it out. So then as next year, as you have this baby that comes out and you can't put in as much time, you have these systems and processes documented.
Yeah, we've already learned.
People can just come in and go. So it's, in a sense, it's almost self-running to some degree.
And everything I'm learning, I'm writing down and making sure that someone else, which you've taught me.
That's smart though.
You said to make journals, any work I do now will only help. And so, because I don't want to be the only person that can, I'm not the only person that can do this.
Sure.
It's not super hard. It's just, you do have to have a personality for it, I guess.
Yeah.
Like, if you have to like it, because if you don't like talking to clients, then it's not the job for you. But we have such an amazing clients.
The people here are really good.
I mean, it's really easy. We live in a beautiful place. People are happy.
Yeah.
And they're happy with the service, and they pay, and it's really not that big, They're happy, we're happy, and that's it. So now is the fun part. We're just watching the lawns transform.
Yeah.
Because we a lot of new clients, and just seeing that they're happy, and I get to now take time to learn. There's a lot that I need to learn about the actual law, like
the science,
the science. Yeah, I don't know. That's where I need to learn.
You can spend a lifetime and still.
But it's fun to do that.
So let me ask you this, because a while ago, one of the first things we talked about was this being involved in something, and there's just a lack of fulfillment. But you still do it because out of whatever fear, we need money, and there's a lot of us that are in that boat. And now here you are again, nothing like you ever pictured it to be an owner of a lawn care company. But it sounds like you have found that that fulfillment is there. Mm-hmm. It's not necessarily from the work, right? I mean, lawn care is not sexy, right? People, it's not technology. It's not, but it sounds like you have found it inside of this.
Yeah, it provides everything. I mean, the lifestyle alone, because I do love to work hard, but I also like to play hard. So, during the season, I work really hard, and the payoff's great. It's fun. It's exciting. It's like a rush. Yeah. Let's see how many clients,
Yeah.
And you're like ready to go every day, and then things slow down, and you're like, okay, back to life. What? Yeah. And you remember, oh yeah, I like to do this, and that. But I just really find I think it's because of the energy from the whole company.
Gotcha.
I wouldn't have enjoyed this just, on my own. Oh, I'm just going to start a company. No, it was the idea of, I love Ecolawn. I love what the company stands for. I love what it is, what we do.
Yeah.
So, and I also love what this is like your baby. And I think you did a wonderful job, and I wanted to be a part of that. And I'm going to take it and make it even better and the best that I can, because I have a focus on this place.
And I feel that way. And, whoever's listening, feel free to let us know if you agree with us or not. But I think since Carolee took over the Heber Valley branch, I think the quality has gone up, the customer service. Like she said, just her focus on one area. And an area that she loves, she lives in. And I think there's a powerful business lesson in that. Sometimes we try to go too far. We try to take over the country. We want to be viral and all this. And it's like, no, just take one area and live there and love it and take care of your clients and do the right thing.
And yeah, I honestly don't want to be this big company. Yeah. You told me about this book, The Company of One.
Paul Jarvis, yeah.
And that's how I already thought. I was like, well, I don't want to get big. I want to be happy with
that's awesome.
With the money, because there's enough money to do what I want to do. I'm not looking to be rich.
Yeah, and
I'm happy with what I have, and to me, this is rich. Define your own rich.
Yeah,
I've learned in my life lessons that obviously money's really never going to make me happy. So, and I'm glad I learned that in my 20s, because then it can change the whole course of my focus isn't on this business, isn't the money. I mean, yeah, I expect it to make a certain amount so I can have this lifestyle, but I'm happy. That's all I need. That's all I want. And it can give me the opportunity to, and I also see this as I get to meet people and
there's a social aspect of it too.
Serve. I know I'm not really serving because they're paying, but
you are. No, it's a service industry. You're providing a service.
So I feel like I honestly do care. Like when I talk about, I have relationships with clients. It's not awesome. Like just give me your money. Like I guess I just love people. So COVID's been really hard. Yeah. But the funny thing is clients actually didn't seem to care and they want to come out and talk still.
Yeah. So some interaction.
Yeah. So I just love meeting people and hearing their story. And we have such cool clients. And everybody has a cool story how they've gotten here. And so
what has been the hardest moment? And I know this is easy when I ask other people who've been doing business for 30 years because they'll have one epic failure or an awful night. But what has been one of the hardest things for you in the last year as being an entrepreneur? What has been that moment that you're like, oh man, this is tough?
Probably trying to figure out how to work with my partners and the roles. So my business partners, you being one, my husband being one. So it's been kind of interesting figuring out what everybody's role is. What do I expect out of them? What do they expect out of me? I think that was the hardest thing because everybody's kind of like, oh, I thought you were going to do that, or, oh, I didn't know I was going to be this involved. So I think it's just, which is probably not a normal answer for anyone else, but that's just been the hardest for me. When you have 3 people as an owner, it's who does what, and it hasn't been really clear. So maybe just the communication between partners.
Just getting clarity, yeah. And then that's common. I mean, I think partnerships fail all the time because there's no communication. People they're not able to work through the difficult times.
Sure, yeah. And I've seen that with even relationships,
that's
marriages. I think it's the same. Business is the same. If you expect something out of your business partner and they're not, and they don't know that, then you're upset.
Yeah.
Or just the business, something is lacking in the business and something fails. So if everybody's doing their role and making sure everybody knows what their role is, I think that even employees, if they don't know
what you expect of them.
If nobody knows, so I think just the lack of communication, I've learned really quick that you need to really be specific because you can't, just like any relationship, we all pretend like we know what each other's thinking.
Yeah.
And we really, really don't. You want everyone to be happy, but nobody knows what each other's thinking, or just have the conversation. We need to have more conversations.
Gotcha. So just having that,
business partners, employees, even with your clients. Like, do they know what, your expectations may be way different than theirs. So I think just everybody understanding what their role is and what they should be getting out of this and putting in.
Awesome. That's great advice. What else is one of the lessons that you've learned or something that you would recommend, even with just, your first year in business, if someone is listening and they're about to start up with a new idea, what are some things, a thing or two that might be of value to them that you've learned?
Oh, it's okay to fail.
Okay.
Actually, you should expect to fail some things. Expect it. But then again, expect to learn from it. I haven't been in this too long to have any profound advice or wisdom, but I think just don't let fear take over. And again, you can get really, if you have a high anxiety, you could probably stress yourself out. You just got to learn to, it's okay. It's just lawn care. Not that to play it down, but everything's going to be okay.
Yeah, you can work it out.
Like, you can fix anything. It's not the end of the world if it doesn't go as planned. Maybe that's more expect to fail and expect
for things to go wrong.
Yeah, things are, but then also expect that keep working at it, that things will work out.
Yeah, and I know you said you don't have any great wisdom, but that literally are all the lessons. Communicate with your team, with your partners, your staff, with your clients. Expect for things to go wrong and know that everything will work out. Know that you can just fix problems, which that's a big deal.
Yeah, because you can worry yourself.
You can get stressed out. Yeah,
but it's just a step back. Like, it's okay. Everything will work out.
One of my last questions for you is: what are some of the things that you do And I ask this to everybody. So it's a Saturday. Let's say it's July, a nice Saturday. You don't have to work. You have no business to do. Where will we find you? What is Carolee doing?
Oh, that's easy. Right now, mountain biking.
Oh, I said July. Yeah, okay. What are some other things?
I like to go to the lake or pool. It depends on what time of the year, but I like to work out. I like mountain biking, and I like being out in nature. And then these days I like to eat. So you'll probably find me eating.
You'll find you at all the local restaurants.
Yeah. And then I like to play with my little niece and nephew. I love to do that. So I'm either with family or out enjoying nature. And
awesome.
That's pretty much it.
Awesome. Well, here we go, guys. There's a lot of cool stuff here. This is a fun journey coming from New Jersey, and she's mentioned, lifestyle changes and really never planning to get into business, and here she is. And again, from my point of view, I think she's killing it. I think it's incredible to watch the things that she's done, and I love it. There's it's not what she ever planned to do. And so I think for those out there that are just thinking, I don't know if I can do it, I don't know if I'm qualified, I don't know, can I do this? And if you have a desire, I recommend just give it a shot,
Yeah, it's worth it.
Yeah, just have some fun. So we'll put a link below to her website, and you can reach her there if you have any questions or any feedback, or if you are one of her clients and you're not happy with her. No, I'm just kidding. You'd let her know. But anyway, cool. Well, thank you for coming in.
Awesome. Hopefully that was something worth listening to.
Yeah, it was. All right, guys. Thanks for tuning in with this episode of The Company Next Door, and we'll see you on the next one.